Welcome back, everybody. Reviewing the best of what was a splendid first half here in the Singapore National Stadium in the International Champions Cup. Bayern Munich really setting a fast pace from the off in this game, racing into a 3-0. Good games in what is supposedly a pre-season tournament for many of Europe's top clubs, both in the Far East and in the United States. And this has been right up there with the best of them. Keith Andrews, your thoughts?
Rafinha, way too much space on the right-hand side. Rafinha provided a little bit of spark Bayern were needing at that time. Drives into the space. See the mix-up in the centre defence. I think a keeper, Courtois' ability, may well have saved this.
So Bayern Munich arriving in Singapore with their pride stung after a couple of defeats against Arsenal on penalties and Milan, a thumping defeat. They were very unhappy with themselves, and they've come out here to try to put it right. Frank Ribéry, box of tricks as always, to the byline, and Thomas Müller got there ahead of Fabregas. Chelsea exposed defensively, and Thomas Müller making it 2, no more than Bayern deserved.
They were superb. They were running right at this stage. Clever little dink. James makes the run inside to create the space at the back post, and Thomas Müller, the composure, no real surprise. James inside, Müller at the back. 2-0 Bayern.
Fabregas on the stretch could not prevent Müller from turning it home, and it would get worse from Chelsea's point of view. Fabregas again, I'm afraid, caught that time by Renato Sanchez, who has looked transformed in this game so far. James Rodriguez really should have added a third. Marcos Alonso again unable to close down the space that was for Bayern today. Willian doing his best to lift Chelsea's efforts, but for a long time in the first half, Tom Starke needed. And the best of the lot, perhaps this. Craftsmanship from Thomas Müller, carving his way through. Chelsea looking leggy, trying to get back, and Müller going.
It was a real trend of the opening half hour. Space allowed for Bayern to break. Chelsea strike, beautiful. Courtois again. No chance with this one. Really good finish, Müller.
Good news for Bayern, Thomas Müller is back. Not that we ever doubted it. There was a water break, and probably since that, Bayern losing their momentum a little bit. Chelsea certainly improved in the last 15 minutes of the half, and right on half-time, Marcos Alonso fizzing it into the net. Very clever by Willian, the little step over. And that's the hope for Chelsea here, that they can pick up the tempo early in the second period.
Well, as you've quite rightly said, they did react really well. The last 10-15 minutes or so, Alonso gets them back in this game with a pure strike.
And so it sets up what we hope will be a thrilling second half here in the National Stadium in Singapore. Please rejoin us shortly. Welcome back to the National Stadium in Singapore, everybody. It's a splendid place to be, wonderful city, and we've had wonderful entertainment here in this International Champions Cup meeting of Chelsea and Bayern Munich. Bayern 3-1 up at the break here. As usual, there will be changes. Kingsley Coman set to come on for Bayern. Remains to be seen to what degree Antonio Conte will want to make changes, or will he leave the players out there in the attempt to put it all right. There was a big improvement in the last 15 minutes from Chelsea, but paramount, of course, it is pre-season and you're thinking of preparation, individual fitness levels. Quite a few of these young Chelsea players, this is a great opportunity because they are the next in line and there's a bit of space opened up in front of them given the departure of several of the previous wave, if you like. Dominic Solanke, Christian Atsu, Bertrand Traore, Nathan Ake, Nathaniel Chaloba, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, all gone. Not necessarily forever, of course. Loftus-Cheek on loan at Crystal Palace. Ake has signed for Bournemouth, and Solanke to Liverpool. Fee to be determined. This is the stats and the numbers from this first half. Bayern with a fairly good advantage in terms of possession. That will not please Conte, I don't think. Almost 60%. And Chelsea not quite as accurate when they did have the ball. Thomas Muller with 2 in that first half for Chelsea. Out to get a hat-trick, no doubt. Much improved from Renato Sanchez for Bayern here. And Tolisso alongside him. Pleased with his efforts as well, the new signing from Lyon. James Rodriguez starting down the right this time for Bayern, and although he should have scored, his general contribution has been good, and Ribéry yet again looking razor sharp. Looks like Conte wants to continue with the bulk of the same team. Courtois conceding 3 in that first half. He won't be happy. Going to be a change in goal for Bayern, and I mentioned the absence of the top 2 goalkeepers, Manny Neuer and Sven Ulreich. So there has been some game time on this tour for the teenager here, Christian Fruchtel. And Coman is coming on to replace Lewandowski for Bayern. Unhappy outing against Milan. He may not have been at fault, but any time you concede 4 at a big club, it's going to hurt. Got to put it behind him. So here we go. Let's hope that we can keep the intensity high here, Keith, despite the humidity.
Yeah, no changes for Chelsea. Antonio Conte may well have earmarked certain changes. Maybe not too pleased with what he's seen, certainly in the opening half an hour. A different dynamic now for Bayern. Thomas Muller probably push up into that striking position. Lewandowski coming off to give us a chance to see James Rodriguez in that more central area.
Jeremy Bogi given his chance by Conte. Injury to Pedro probably helping in that respect. And of course Kennedy also departing from the Chelsea squad. Not his finest moment.
Just shows how young players have to be so careful with social media in this day and age. properly. It's a nice tool to interact with the fans, but with that comes a huge amount of responsibility.
Well, Conte is so sharp on all those aspects of behaviour with his players. And, of course, the other element to the tour out here is the commercial side of it. Chelsea have their responsibilities and they want to live up to them. Hopefully he'll learn his lesson. Here's Rafinha, who got the fun started with that early goal here for Bayern. Renato Sanchez. I think this could become the biggest theme of the day for Bayern, whether they win or lose the game, Keith, that they've got a performance out of Renato Sanchez.
He's been superb physically, in possession. He's pulled the strings, taken very few touches. He's always been available as an option for teammates, dropping into little areas like this to provide the extra man. It's been superb.
Made life much easier for Martinez and Hummels as well, hasn't he? Friedel to Frichtel, two of the prospects from the Bayern Academy. Conte looking for Chelsea to press. On by Tolisso. He too has played his part here. Still getting to know his new teammates. Muller will be down the middle without Lewandowski.
Clearly tweaked at a half-time. Conte, good at position at the back five there. First half, Alonso, Moses wouldn't have even been in sight. The camera, leaving that back through, way too exposed. Playing more like a back five in the opening stages of the second half.
And watch the way Moses is now closing in on the far side as the players on this side. Absolutely right. I only mentioned it first half because having watched Chelsea a lot last season, Keith, I couldn't believe how advanced they both were.
Simply wasn't them, wasn't it? You can accept in pre-season sloppiness, tiredness, but starting positions, reactions, they should still be there. It's been ingrained in them for a whole season now under Conte.
Well, Alonso's got to track back quickly against Coman here. Change really when it worked so well down the right in the first half for Bayern.
He's just balancing the minutes up. Purely has to be down to that. Lewandowski had a large chunk of the game against Milan. Obviously earmarked just to play a half today. But he was very, very sharp.
Tolisso. Not quite in the Muller class from the first half. What of his contribution here today so far?
Yeah, I've liked him. I have to say, I thought he was a good signing from Lyon. Couldn't really affect the game against Milan the other day. But today, himself and Sanchez been outstanding in the heart of the midfield.
Slip by Martinez might have been costly, covered off by Hummels. Renato Sanchez. I think as a contest, perhaps the next goal defines this game, doesn't it?
Very much so. Just with the whole way, looking at that back five now in place. Chelsea or Conte's worked on a half-time. He clearly doesn't want to concede any more goals. Certainly not. How cheaply they conceded in the first half. He's tried to sort that out first and foremost.
Willian, always a bright spark. Friedel's just got the throw there and on the ball, not on the man, but Willian went down anyway. And sportingly put out of play by Bayern.
Good break by Willian. Knocks it. James Rodriguez. Super tackle.
Seeing other dimensions here to James Rodriguez, aren't we? Martinez. Rafinha. Direct by Hummels. Just a bit too much on it for James Rodriguez. Christensen back to Courtois. Good movement then by Christensen. To the Quetta. Long by Courtois, but out of play. That press by Brian, so sharp.
They do it in numbers as well. You see players going individually, 2 and 3 at a time, recognising when to pressurise that Chelsea defence.
Martinez. Renato Sanchez to Hummels. Ribery trying to run in behind. Friedel pressed high on Moses. And again the red shirts squeezing up. Chelsea out this side to Alonso. Rafinha on Alonso. I'm sure there will be changes here, of course, for Chelsea, but as to whether they can affect the pattern of the game without a player like Eden Hazard, I'm not sure that they can today, Keith.
I think they've missed that magic, haven't they? You think about last season, the front three in the main, certainly second half of the season, with Pedro, Hazard, Diego Costa. The three of those not available today for very different reasons, obviously.
Kingsley Coman. Switch by Renato Sanchez. Friedel creeping forward from left back. Ribery. He's gone again here, Friedel. He's not the quickest, and there's a good recovery by Azpilicueta. A little sloppy again, perhaps, by Courtois.
I think so. I think he's been at the races. Whether it might be a little bit harsh, but the first goal, Rafinha, we've seen it all the way. Yes, it was a good strike. Certainly, the standards that he has set the last few years, you would expect him to be tipped. That one around the post.
Competition will be provided by Willy Caballero at Chelsea in the new season. Begovic departing for Bournemouth. Here's Rafinha. Would you see Caballero as a capable deputy?
Yeah, very much so.
Ribery, Bayern looking very menacing again here. Chelsea at least have got bodies back, including both of those wing-backs. They do seem to have had a little bit of a telling off, and Moses certainly did well then. Conte looking for more. Marcos Alonso. Pushed out of the way by Martinez.
Looks like he's flagging now, Alonso. A role that him and Moses play. very demanding physically.
Well, looks like the boss is ready to flog him out there at the moment. Keep going. Forward by Fabregas. Moses. Aspilicueta to Fabregas. Looking for the movement, or it's almost nicked right off him by Tolisso. Fabregas says, well, there wasn't a lot on. Kante trying to inject something. Marcos Alonso now. Fabregas. Willian. He has provided hope at times in this game. Gives it back to Fabregas. He's looking for Marcos Alonso, but that is all too easy. Rafinha gets the round of applause and a high five from Martinez. No threat for Bayern. Looks to me like the Bayern defenders are also aware of their responsibility to keep the opposition out. They rather crumbled against Milan. Renato Sanchez. Back to him by Tolisso. Fairly hectic schedule really, Keith, in the first couple of the months for Bayern compared to many other top clubs. They started their pre-season preparations early, as they tend to do, right at the end of June, regardless of international game, by Gary Cahill.
Superb recovery by Cahill. He was outnumbered. Frank Ribery, again, blind the ears. The way to pass, beautiful. Coleman and James Rodriguez available. It's last-ditch defending by Cahill, and he's been the one defender today has really stuck to his guns at times. That's happened. Alonso hasn't got in to provide that cover.
James takes the corner. Cleared by Batshuayi. Tolisso. Ribery. Chelsea backed off him.
Again, it's bright play by Bayern. Coleman is into Tolisso, who feeds Ribery. Nice composure.
On the hour mark, some changes afoot here. Marcos Alonso clear. Nice take by Willian.
Thomas Muller's been quite quiet. He's gone into that advanced area, not as much space in the second half. The Bayern players capitalise on. Conte clearly tweaked things at half-time.
I don't think even Muller would contest this statement. He doesn't have Lewandowski's change of pace, and that was a real problem for Chelsea in the first half. Muller, a very able foil, playing off the front. James Rodriguez taking a more central role in his second half and doing well. On by Ribery. Coman. Nice link-up play. Kingsley Coman. Renato Sanchez. Higher and wider than Ribery's a few minutes ago. But they're not letting the energy level drop here, Bayern. Now, one of these changes, remembering that we will also have a water break later in the half. So Alvaro Morata and David Luiz are coming on for Chelsea. This time last year all the talk was about Luiz, and of course now Morata, who signs from Real Madrid for nearly £60 million. Jeremy Boga has made way. He made some headway, Boga, but let's see what Morata can produce. Milos Pantovic has come on in the middle of the park for Bayern. Martinez got above Morata straight away. In at right back is Felix Götze for Bayern. Famous family name, of course. Felix, the young brother. Hummels played with Mario Dortmund, and of course with Germany. Here's Morata. As well as the goals, what he does provide, Keith, is outstanding movement up front.
Really bright player. Had to be very, very patient last year at Madrid. Coming back from Juve, he was such a success.
Chase for Alonso, couldn't get there.
I would fully expect fully fit Morata. Should have been a goal. A little bit flat-footed. Getting to know his teammates maybe. A lovely cross.
Surely we'll need a game or two to get up to sharpness. David Luiz not messing about. He's actually got a free kick for Chelsea.
Referee done well. See, could he play the advantage? James Rodriguez just catching David Luiz as he nicked it.
Kante. Sanchez gets a toe in again. He's without Tolisso in there now. Pantovic has gone into that role. Different kind of player, really, Pantovic. Perhaps a little bit more elegant. It's another element to life at this time of the year, though, Keith, surely. Martinez did well in the air again. You really have to bring some young players on the tour, don't you? You have to do that.
Well, if you're not going to blood young players in pre-season, you're never going to. The strain, the travelling these teams are doing as well, injuries that inevitably will pick up, fatigue. It's imperative. If you're going to trust them, give them the opportunity in environments like this.
Chelsea on the press here. Martinez stepped in again. Now, Bayern could break quickly. Kingsley Coman and Chelsea are very stretched suddenly defensively. It's 4 on 3. It's James Rodriguez looking for...
Another blistering attack from Bayern. Rodriguez. He's left his shooting boots at home. Ribéry trying to orchestrate something. He finds Rodriguez again. Had options. Coman to Thomas Muller. Again, just can't quite find the back of the net.
10 attempts, 3 goals. Reasonable ratio, but Bayern have had the chances to do even better in this game. 3 or 4 for James. And we've decided that we'll forgive Ribery that attempt at the spectacular simply because he's Frank Ribery. Here's Felix Götze. Coman, who's looked bright. Ribery twisting both ways. Oh, brilliant by Frank Ribery. James Rodriguez, and this time Courtois gets a very, very sharp save in. And he needed to.
Does Frank Ribery ever cease to amaze you? Just take a look at this close control, knowing when to lay it off. As Moses comes into contact, knows exactly what he's doing. Slides James Rodriguez in, and again he just can't beat Courtois.
Best piece of work tonight from Courtois' side. Rodriguez on the corner. Martinez with the header wide. Well, it's very intense still, isn't it?
Decent corner. James Rodriguez. Always going to be difficult for Martinez. Backpedaling, trying to head it back to where it came from.
Morata. Kept going. Marcos Alonso trying to get those legs working this side. Batshuayi and Morata in the box, but Götze stopped the cross from coming in, and was the boss there, but he's presented it back to Alonso, who keeps going and going. Kante. Fabregas. Marcos Alonso again. Off the shins of Batshuayi. There's a offside flag, I think, Pete.
I think it's for the initial ball to Alonso from Fabregas. Alonso stuck to his guns there. At one stage it looked like he was running in quicksand. It really is flagging. Surely Conte's thinking about how can that change.
Ribery simply indefatigable, keeping going. Muller looking a bit more tired then as he gave it away. And there's a little elbow there, surely, by Götze. Stern challenge. He's nothing like his brother, is he? This young fullback.
He's got straight in, hasn't he? Had a couple of tussles already. He's only been on the pitch a matter of minutes. Stopped Morata in his tracks there. Knows exactly what he's doing.
Fabregas. So competitive, this meeting of the champions of England and Germany. Batshuayi, nice layoff this time, but it's over the top from Willian.
Oh, Hummels and Martinez get caught out. Hummels way too advanced. Martinez nowhere to the gaps in the defence. Batshuayi tries to lay it off to Willian. He's saying he wants it a little bit gentler.
David Luiz isn't messing around either in this game. Looking to energise Chelsea. There's plenty of hope here. Willian. Luiz again. Deflection on it. Oh, saved by the post. Brooker wasn't getting there, the goalkeeper. Big drive here by Chelsea, and their supporters are loving it in Singapore.
And he's right at the heart of it. David Luiz, he has injected a little bit of spirit into this Chelsea side. A scrappy one.
They're not used to losing games, Chelsea, and they don't want to lose this one either. Bayern get a free kick. Bayern looking ragged defensively now, Keith.
Only made a couple of changes, 2-3 changes. Trying to tire inevitably. This is Luiz's strike. Doesn't really catch it. That's sweet. Oh, deflection. It's off the post for a corner kick.
Fröchtl says to all these Bayern players, go on, get down the field, I'm going to punt this out as far as I can. Good spell from Chelsea. And they come again. Batshuayi. Morata made good headway down the middle. I think it'd be a huge addition for Chelsea. Here goes Coman. There's a little pullback, I think, by Alonso then.
You'd be lucky to escape a yellow card here. Referee is calling Marcus Alonso back. Blatant pull of the jersey. Coman was surely going to exploit that space left.
Time for the second drinks break here. As you said, what is he made of, Frank Ribery? .34 going on 17, isn't he? Amazing. Bayern are putting it all in here. They very badly want a victory. After stumbling in the first part of this tour. Chelsea looking for a big finish. They've kept at it so very well here. The 34-year-old who's done it all, that's the chance we're going to permit him to have today to do the spectacular.
It's a great opportunity for James Rodriguez. He ghosted in from that right-hand side. Alonso let him go. In fairness to Alonso, he did have two men. Disappointed.
And Luis sent out there to make things happen in his own remarkable way, and very nearly doing that. Bayern saved by the post with their second choice goalkeeper today, young Fröchtl in goal. Come on, let's put it all in here, he says. 15 minutes plus stoppages. Chelsea need 2 at least. If they get to 2, and if it were to end in a draw, it'll be a penalty shootout. Still a long way to go, of course. But it is that indomitable will, isn't it, that Conte insists on. We're never beaten, we always keep going. Whatever the scoreboard says.
Very much so, and half-time there's been a real change in the way they've set up.
Batshuayi from a long way out.
Been a hell of a strike from there. Batshuayi hasn't had the opportunities that he had to shine against Arsenal. Martinez drops off a little bit. Never going to trouble Fröchtl.
Chelsea pressing up on Bayern now, as Bayern did to Chelsea in the first half. Coman into top gear here. Kingsley Coman, Ribery didn't want to give it to James Rodriguez. Now he does. Room had rather been closed down. Coman looks really sharp, doesn't he, Kingsley Coman? Renato Sanchez wasn't really threatening. Moses. Chelsea looking to finish strong. It's been an arduous tour for a sub-strength Bayern squad. Working very, very hard in July and August, as they tend to do. Drops it on Morata.
Fröchtl yet again. Heart of the action. He's got a point. Clearly gets the ball.
A bit like Jack Charlton and Bobby Charlton, those two brothers, isn't it? Ivantovic.
Moses has come onto the left-hand side, and Tamori has come on, and Marcus Alonso. A testing evening.
We mentioned the departure of several of the 19, 20, 21-year-olds who've threatened to make an impact at first-team level, and of course it does open the door for others, like 19-year-old Fikayo Tomori, born in Canada, playing for the England under-20s, of course, in that very successful World Cup winning team. Bayern wanted an offside. I don't think it was for that.
No, I think he's given it for this one, which is the softest free kick that's probably been given in this tournament.
Friedel to Ribéry. Renato Sanchez. Rolled up to Coman. Cahill does his best to look unconcerned, even though he's left on the deck. Muller tracking back on Moses.
And a lot better in the second half, Victor Moses. Defensively, certainly. And driving his team forward, stuck to his pass very, very well.
Two more changes here for Bayern. Well, he's going to get a hero's reception here, as is Thomas Muller. Frank Ribéry has been wonderful to watch, and Muller getting the 2 goals today for Bayern Munich, looking much more like his old self. So 2 veterans, but still with a huge part to play in the months ahead for Bayern Munich. Niklas Dorsch is coming on as Ancelotti gives the youngsters their chance.
It's interesting we speak about young players and getting the opportunity in pre-season. It's also really important for Thomas Muller. Those 2 goals today, even with a man of his experience, what he's done in the game, he will be very keen to have a good pre-season, to bring it in a competitive league, Champions League, going forward.
10 minutes ahead for Bayern, and it might be quite hard working 10 minutes because Chelsea haven't given up on this. Moses going against Götze. Gary Cahill well forward. Nicely done. Moses again. 4 in the box for Chelsea. Tomori coming off his flank.
Victor Moses is really well. Recognises where the space is. Friedel tucked right in that left back position, and Tomori, to say, was favourite. Friedel does well in the end.
Keith, these youngsters on this tour for Chelsea, like this fellow here, do you think Conte was happy to see the others like Chalobah, Loftus-Cheek departing because he thinks that these kids have also got a big chance?
I think it gets to a stage when you have to make a decision on the player's future. We look at Loftus-Cheek. This time next year we'll know whether he's going to play the following season in a Chelsea shirt, obviously depending on how he gets on at Crystal Palace. Chalobah was very patient last year. He was always in and around the squad. But I think the combination of the club, the player as well, maybe forcing the move to a degree. But it's a conveyor belt at Chelsea. They have a relentless amount of talent coming all the way through. It's just bridging that gap. Who can make an impact on that first team?
Each one of these youngsters is so very keen to do exactly that, you know, or I mentioned the tremendous success for England's underage teams over the last few months, and so many bright prospects, but they're not going to flourish if they don't get first team time, and therefore they won't step up to the full international squad.
You're talking about Chelsea as Premier League champions. It's so hard to break into that starting lineup, that match day squad. It's vital that they do utilise the loan system. They go and experience first team football, which many do. But hopefully, the aim, I'm sure, within Chelsea is after those loan spells that they can start to put some of their own homegrown talent into the first team.
You're now working with the Republic of Ireland underage teams, and of course I think it's right to say one can only dream of having the choice that the England underage teams have at the moment, but it's so important for the senior team that they get the opportunity to make the progress.
It's the knock-on effect. So hard to break into first team environments in this day and age, harder than it's ever been. Scouting networks worldwide, choice. When I broke through, it was just the British Isles, and you're up against now the youth teams and throughout the Premier League, South American, African players all around Europe. It's tough for our homegrown players to make an impact.
Chelsea are very rightly proud of their production line. No problems this time as they stay in the hunt in this game. Eduardo getting down. Conte's going to give a run out to a couple more in a moment. I think it's entirely understandable from Bayern's point of view, Keith, that they are making these changes. Here's Moses. Morata. Trying to get the rust out of the legs, isn't he?
Yeah, very much so. Good link-up play. Timing of his run to be available for Moses. I think at this stage, it's 45 minutes each.
And now they're back in it. It's turned in by Batshuayi, or is it going to count? Chelsea showing themselves again.
Well, it's far from dominating defending. Matt Hummels. Very disappointed to concede like that. Fabregas with the corner. The little flick on actually comes off Winsheimer. Morata contesting at the front post. Batshuayi. Far too much space right in the heart of the 6-yard box. Good concentration to finish it.
That's his last involvement. Picks his moments, doesn't he? Premier League decisive goal in the Championship race, and a goal here to enliven this late on against Bayern Munich. Bayern have been warned for the months ahead, should they meet again in the Champions League, incidentally. But what of this in the International Champions Cup? Chelsea have got better and better. And Bayern look a little bit bedraggled now after all the changes. They had a firm grip on this for a long time. What a lift it would be for Chelsea to come back from 3-0 down here, and you know, there would definitely be questions asked from Bayern's side. The overpowering legends who run the show behind the scenes, Rummenigge and Hoeneß, they're not used to see Bayern going 3 games in a row ever without a win, whatever the context. Look at Chelsea, they're buzzing away, they want to haul this back. That will please Conte so much, won't it?
Yeah, and it goes back to the point we were making earlier about how well this tournament has been contested by nearly every team in every game, it has to be said.
Moses thought he'd got away from Götze. Bayern breathe again here.
It's been a good little battle, that one. Götze initially up against Alonso. Now Moses. Initially it could have been the other way around, that one.
In fairness to Bayern, if they are looking a bit weary now, it's been an arduous pre-season. It starts in the latter part of June for most of the players who are not on international duty. They played a couple of low-key friendlies against lower league teams back home, and then they play a sort of 45-minute aside senior tournament against Hoffenheim and Werder Bremen before coming out here even. Then Arsenal, Milan, Chelsea, and it keeps coming. Another 2 days they play Inter. They don't complain, of course, they get their midwinter break, but they do it differently.
Again, another questionable free kick. Cahill nearly gets the ball.
As he said. Coman. Moses has got better and better in this game. Still time for more. Kante. Coman working back hard, but Moses has got away from him. Almost. So frustrated with himself, he thought he was going to have a run then. Instead it's Kingsley Coman, and we know he can run. James Rodriguez is on outside him. Now will he go for it, or will he settle for taking some time out here? I think he's done that. Coman. All the way back by Goetze. Sums up the state of the game now, really. Martinez. Rather theatrical. Cahill on James Rodriguez.
Patient play by Bayern. Using that experience. James initially slinging the ball into the box. There's very few numbers. Gets involved in the second phase of the attack. Buys a free kick for his side again. It's valuable time. There's no rush to get up, James.
Friedel. No problem for Luis. The only problem for Chelsea now is the time factor, I think. Eduardo got there. Stoppage minutes. Certainly been a hard workout for Ancelotti's men again, and Chelsea may be even now are not finished. In all honesty, Chelsea did not play very well in the first half, Keith, but what does it say about the mentality that Conte has embedded in this club now, that they've fought so very hard here?
I think second half they've been a different team. Bayern haven't hit the heights that they did in the first half, it must be said, but tactically he tweaked it at half-time. They've been a lot more compact, a lot more resolute. They've been the ruthless Chelsea that we've been accustomed to watching.
Conte leads them up again. Willian took it over from Baker, senior man I suppose you could say. That's a pretty optimistic hit from that range, with so many red and white shirts in the way, but they come again with Moses here. But strong and determined, did well. Just what Bayern needed.
Been impressed with him since he's come on. Victor Moses still going very strong. Victor Moses tries to drag it, stays on his feet very well. Got to
Coman, denied by Gary Cahill. Aspilicueta looking to launch it. Tomori instead. Morata goes over. Chelsea don't get the free kick.
Difference of opinion there. Almost Morata. Have another look. Very minimal contact, if at all.
Dare I say, in Spain he would have got it. Former Real Madrid man Rodriguez. Friedel. trying to play forward. Needs this victory, doesn't he? Needs to put it in the bank. He's almost there.
I think he'll be happy. He was always expecting a reaction from that man. Tactically, he got a spot on at half-time, got his team back into it, but he said in the first few minutes he didn't want his team to concede again, and they haven't.
Conte will surely be very, very pleased with the second half overall. But it looks now like Chelsea might fall just short. Baker. On by Willian to Moses. Might be more defending for Bayern to do here. He's got away from Götze this time. George came to help. Stuck to his guns well. Conte grabs it. Willian can't use it. Still Chelsea fighting for everything. That's what Conte wants to see from this Chelsea team. But they're going to come up just short here. Well, what an outstanding contest. Nothing, everything in. And Chelsea came mighty close to rescuing it from 3-0 down. As it is, Bayern get the win they needed. Of course, it means nothing in the long term, and they will probably be eyeing each other up warily should they meet in the UEFA Champions League once the season proper gets underway. But a few points have been made, and it is Bayern who get the victory here, even if they were hanging on in the second half just a little bit. The result, Chelsea 2, Bayern 3. So here we go with the best of it once more. Rafinha with a lot of room to work with early on, and that's what he made use of it. Keith to put Bayern into the early lead here. Courtois beaten.
They utilised the switch of play particularly well. Bayern Munich all the way across to Rafinha, and he forays forward looking for options. In the end, he just unleashes a decent strike. Courtois, we've seen him save them before.
Bayern very keen to put some misfortunes on this tour behind them. Thomas Müller out of sorts before today, but back and full of energy. Nobody quite like Ribéry through this tour for Bayern. Outstanding player really on the tour. He was who set it up for Müller to make it 2.
Sensational break by Bayern Munich. Look at the way Ribéry digs this one up. James Rodriguez makes the run in to create that little bit of space at the back post. And look who's arriving. Thomas Müller, concentration, the composure to find the back of the net.
And Chelsea were carved open again in this brilliant beginning by Bayern. Thomas Müller from a long way out, curving it round Courtois for 3.
Well, again, Chelsea caught 2v2. Lewandowski makes the run. And it's all about precision, placement, the strike from Thomas Müller. And again, he outdoes Courtois.
Brilliant first half display, and Chelsea were reeling for a long part of it. In the run-up to half-time, they got themselves together. Moses on the pullback, Marcus Alonso, who had a very unhappy spell, fizzing that in, and that really might have changed the mood at half-time, I think.
One of the few real quality moments for Chelsea in the first half. The purest strikers you're going to see. Unstoppable.
Bayern really looking for a 4th goal early in the second half, which might have killed it as a contest. James Rodriguez several times today doing everything bar putting the ball in the net.
Goes in really well here on the right hand side. Alonso's 2v1. Just lets James Rodriguez get to the wrong side of him.
Chelsea doing their best to contain Ribéry, but that's easily said. James again. Courtois getting down. His best save of the evening, really. And Chelsea working their way into it the longer it went. David Luiz coming on and applying his own inimitable brand of fiery aggression, forcing the issue here. Pretty unfortunate. Martinez with a little flick, and the youngster who came on in goal, Thriftle, wasn't going to get there. But they would get on the score sheet again. Michy Batshuayi, and Chelsea precious close to a leveller as Bayern hung on for a much-needed win. Late on, those troubling defensive frailties showing themselves again for Bayern. But they did get the result they needed.
In football is very quick, and it changes every game what the people talk about you. So I stay confident. I know what are my strengths, and I'm very confident to go on in the season. So that was not a problem for me.
And how much does this win boost the confidence of the team after 2 defeats in China?
2 defeats is a big word. I think the first game against Arsenal was very good. We had a little bad luck in the last second, but it was a nice reaction after the game against Milan, and so yeah, we are happy and everything is going good.
Thanks a lot, Muller. Congratulations. Hello, Marcos. After the win against Arsenal, a defeat today against Bayern, it was a close game. What are your thoughts?
I think we conceded too much in the first half. We lose today, we have to learn. Can be useful to improve for the next games and be ready for the start of the league.
Alvaro Morata made his debut for Chelsea. How do you think he played as a teammate?
Yeah, he's just arrived. He needs time to get used to the way we play. I think he's a great player and he will do so well for us for sure.
All the best, Marcos, and I hope you do well in the next game. All the best. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yes, and the friendship between the two might come in useful as he beds in, but Chelsea with a lot to be proud about as they fought very, very hard to come back into this here in Singapore. Not quite enough. For both, the games will continue to come round very quickly. Couple of days in the case of Bayern before the game against Inter here. This is the story of this one in the National Stadium. 60-40 in favour of Bayern overall in possession terms. Chelsea perhaps much more accurate with their use of the ball second half. Hard fought and very, very competitive. Well, as Bayern bid their farewells here, we thank you very much for watching. This is how it stands in the Asian section of the International Champions Cup. I'd like to pass on my thanks to Keith Andrews. We hope very much you've enjoyed it with us, and thank you. Until the next time here in Singapore, from us all, it is goodbye.